What's up, everybody? We are here in Salt Lake City with our dear friend Kelly. Kelly is our territory sales manager, so she is over this whole southwest side of the United States, and she is going to, I'm a complete beginner quilter, as you guys know, and she's going to teach me some of her easy quilting designs.
That's right. You think you can do it?
I think so. Comment down below if you think so. Yeah. So let's get to it.
We're going to do it. So, Brody, the first couple years that I quilted, I really hadn't had lessons or anything. There's so many ways to get education now.
Like YouTube.
Right. But I hadn't had any, and so all I knew how to do was meander. So I'm just going to show you a meander because I have all kinds of quilts now that are quilts instead of quilt tops, right? So meandering is a good stitch. So I'm going to show you how that works. We're going to start. Some people call it puzzling, some people call it stippling, meandering.
Okay, it's all the same, right?
It's all the same thing. It doesn't matter what size.
So your stippling stitch, your meander, your puzzling, all the same stitch.
Yeah, whatever
all the same
size
design.
You're doing it, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stitch around like I'm making a puzzle piece kind of thing. They can be, let me stop for a second. What I try to do, and I didn't just stitch an example of that, but I try to think of a size, like say a quarter. Like I'm going to meander around a quarter. That helps me keep it consistent, because otherwise they just kind of get bigger and bigger
and smaller and around.
Yeah, so you try and think of a size.
So you try to think of a size that's going to be your general size of the distance between your lines.
Or like when I'm doing a loop around it, I'm going to like loop around
a quarter size.
That quarter or nickel or whatever.
Silver dollar or whatever it is.
Yeah, so I'll just do a little bit more and then I'm going to turn over to you.
Okay. Okay. Let's see it.
You can try it one-handed if you want to. You don't want a death grip. So I'm totally right-handed, so I guide it with my right hand, and then I try to just kind of stabilize with my left.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, question for you: so when you're doing your meander, your stippling, how wide do you quilt when you're first going? Do you do lines like this that are 3 inches tall and go across the whole quilt? Do you do a square at a time?
That's such a good question.
Okay.
So if I have my throat space and I try to fill the throat space, and I try to fill it like at an angle. So maybe I'll quilt just a little bit more and show you what I'm talking about.
Please.
Okay, so I'm going to go back over here. And I'm kind of blowing it on the size, but just follow with me for a second, okay?
Okay.
All right, can you see that angle I've got going on there?
Yeah, and then so then you're going to quilt back this direction?
Then I quilt back that direction, and I just keep kind of going at an angle, and that keeps it from looking linear. Like, otherwise,
it looks like you have lines of...
Now, if you want the look of lines, that's okay. Just go, they look kind of like doggy bones, just up and bounce back down.
Okay.
But when I'm doing this on an overall quilt, I just like to kind of fill in at an angle because that just keeps it from looking linear.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'll give it a shot. Okay, here we go. Ready? All right.
Okay, now remember, like stippling is like your handwriting. Yours is different than mine. Mine's different than yours. They all look different, and that's okay. He's a one-handed quilter.
I feel like I have way more control when it's one-handed.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Like your hands are fighting against each other or something? Hey, you got this.
So when I get to here, here's a good question for you. So once I get to here, I need to fill in here, but I'm kind of blocking myself out. So do I just kind of do a big loop around? Is it okay if the stippling crosses?
No,
or not usually.
You don't want your
stippling to cross.
Your other designs we're going to cross, but in our stippling we're not going to cross.
So can I do one of these? Like?
Yes, absolutely.
Like anytime I've done any kind of just practice quilting, I always do a lot of like loop-de-loops around the corner here. So I feel like it's like it takes a minute for me to get like that. I would have gone around the corner there.
Okay, it's all right. He's got his own style of meandering. It's good. So sometimes you find yourself getting maybe stuck in a little corner or stuck in a space that you're not sure how to get out of. So if you'll spend some time, all you new quilters, if you'll spend a little time drawing this on paper, like specifically trying to fill a space, you'll learn ways and you'll learn your spacing so that you know when you need to turn around and kind of head the other direction. Now you're hitting the bar, bottom, so we kind of got, but that's okay.
That's not bad. I mean, I'm okay with that.
That looks good.
Cool, okay.
You could finish your quilt that way, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that design. In fact, it doesn't detract at all from your piecing.
I feel like the stippling stitch gets a bad rap.
I think so too.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, just do something basic, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna put a meander on it. But at the end of the day, it looks really good, and you can change it based on your size, right? I mean.
So if you want to look quickly at this quilt behind you, I don't know if you can see that very well. This quilt was completely meandered or stippled.
Oh, cool.
So when you look closely at it, you can see all the stippling.
And like you said, it doesn't detract at all.
It doesn't detract from the piecing. Like it just finishes the quilt and doesn't take away from the piecing at all.
And a done quilt?
And it's a quilt. It's not just a quilt top. I can't.
Perfect.
How many times I'm going to tell you that? But.
Okay, so we're done with design number 1. Yep. What's design number 2?
We're going to do some loops. We're going to cross. You were kind of.
I feel like that's easier for me, but let's see.
So we're going to do some loops. Okay. All right, so the trick with the loops as well is I'm trying to think of a size or round. We're going to do round loops. So think of something like a quarter again. Okay. Or silver dollar, however big. That's a big loop. So I'm going to go with quarters again. Okay. All right, here we go. We're just going to go into a loop. And I'm going to have the same. I'm going to attack it the same way.
The same kind of diagonal.
I'm going to go on a diagonal. So that just helps me fill the space. And if you like one, oh, that was not a good one. But if you like one loop, you can even add 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like that was like a very short explanation for a cool design there. Oh, that's perfect. No, I think that's good. I think that's all there is to it, right?
Yeah. When I first learned to quilt, I heard there was rules like you couldn't cross your lines, and then I saw somebody that had done loops. I'm like,
you're like, wait a second. So, okay, cool. I'm down. I gotta come this way a little bit here.
So go up and fill up there, and then come. Yeah. Hey, you're a master looper.
I feel like that's a little bit easier than the meander, but for me. Double loop-de-loop right there.
Yeah. So one thing I didn't mention when you're quilting, are you looking at your needle or where are you looking?
I don't know. I'm looking where I'm going.
Okay, more than at the needle. That's what I want you to do, is to focus ahead, like look at where you're going.
So is there an advantage to doing a single-handed long arming to double-handed? Because I feel like I guess let me try it with 2. So I feel way more comfortable doing one-handed because I feel like I have a little easier a little more control over the machine.
Try just resting your hand here for stabilizing. Don't hold on to it, and see if that makes any difference. I think it's absolutely a personal choice. It's just finding what works best for you. But I do hear some people say that they feel like their hands fight against each other in control, so they're just better one-handed. But I guess I don't think a lot about it. I
just quilt, huh?
Yeah. But you definitely want to have,
lost the thread. There we go.
You don't want to have tight grip. Like if I can't see, if your knuckles are white.
If your knuckles are white, you're doing something wrong.
To loosen up. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that's not bad for the first round.
And either of these designs, Brody, would be fantastic just finishing your quilt.
Okay.
And every time you do it, you're going to get better at it.
Sure.
So.
Sure. When it's funny too, you can see, if you come up close here with the camera, you can see like this is what you did. And then we had a little odd thing, okay, wait a second, I'm going to get used to this here. And then it kind of evens out here with what I did.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's funny how you say it's like your own handwriting, like you have a different, you can definitely see that you did this here and I did this here, but if I did the whole thing, it would look just like I did it.
Just great. So, yeah.
I don't know, perfect. I wouldn't go that far, but
perfect. It's perfect.
So, okay, so design 2 in the books. We've done stippling, we've done swirls. What's design 3?
Well, let's call those loops.
Loops, okay.
How about we do some swirls? Do you want to try swirls?
Deal. Loops and swirls are different, guys, just so you know. Just learn that right now. So, all right, let's do it. And you're doing it in the same kind of diagonal fashion still, right?
Yeah, I always try to keep that in mind, just for filling space. When I'm trying to fill the whole throat space, I try to keep that in mind. It's not like a die-hard rule. It just helps you to fill the space. Okay? All right, so with swirls, I'm going to stitch a couple of them, and then I'm going to stop and talk about the stitch just a little bit. Okay,
let's see it.
Now, along with a design like this, anytime you add a point, like a hook, or an echo, it allows you to get out of all kinds of pinches. Like you can get out of
like, oh, I'm in the wrong spot, and come back around.
Yes, yes. So we're going to add extra echoes and extra little hooks so that you'll see. All right. Okay, so with this first one, I'm going to swirl into the center, and then I come back to the center and fill it back up like that. Okay. It's a pretty full swirl. Okay. With this next one, I'm going to swirl into the center, and then I'm just going to come right back out. Can you see the difference between those two?
So when you're coming in this way.
I stop in the same spot. This one I came back to the center and filled up that center a little bit. This one I just...
This one you just went out, this one you came in back in.
One is not right, one is not wrong. They give you a different look. It's a different preference. So, but if you find you're doing swirls like this and you want the center to be more full, you just need to change direction when you get to the center. Okay. So, like I said, it doesn't matter which way you do it. Okay. Okay, so, and then to start repeating them, so that would be considered the hook, and then this is the echo, right? Okay. So then I'm going to go back into swirl. I left a hook right there when I changed directions, and then I'm going to come back over here and echo this around. Let's see if I get this out of the way. Can you see just the hooks I've added? That just allows me to change direction. I could go swirl to swirl to swirl, but I guarantee I'm going to get stuck somewhere and I won't be able to get out of it. Okay. So I prefer to do swirls with a hook. Okay.
And the hook, you're going right back over the same spot you just swirled.
It just allows me to change direction. Okay. Are you ready to try?
Sure. Yeah, let's try it. Why not? I feel like this one looks much more difficult than the other ones, but we're going to give it a shot.
Well, keep breathing.
Okay, you got it.
And you can stop. You can push stop anytime you get in a little pinch. Okay.
So, and you have to actually stop, right? Or if not, it's going to be too...
If you want a point, you have to actually pause. That's a really good point.
I'm going to stop right there.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop there. So I'm doing the echoed ones, right? So if I was not doing the echo, I would just...
So you just did from swirl to swirl. You didn't add a hook. It's okay. Okay. But you're going to want to add a hook at some point in case you... If you only have it one time in your group of swirls, it looks odd. So you'd add it in lots of different places.
So I could just do a little hook right there? Or like right here?
Sure.
That work?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting, how do I get it from being round? I feel like I'm getting rounded. So I'm going right there. Oh, there we go. That's a little less round. Yeah. I have kind of boxed myself in a corner though.
You have locked yourself in. That's okay. We wouldn't, on a quilt, probably be quilting yellow thread on black fabric. So this is so that you all can see.
So I need to work on my adjustment of my depth here a little bit. So I'm going to come to here.
Yeah, make sure you leave that space to get out. There you go. Yeah, that's the hook I'm talking about. There you go.
Still need to work on my depth a little bit, but I'm going to come over here real fast. Just give myself a little more room. Okay. All right, this is definitely going to take more practice. Here we go.
So what would be the best way to practice?
Pad and paper?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Or just grab a bolt of solids or something and
that works too.
Have at it. I'm gonna, so the
Your spacing on that one is good.
So I can just go like this, right? And then come out?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm back to loops again. Hold on. We're looping now.
Look at those loops.
I feel like I get stuck like in a pattern and I have to change it here. Hold on.
Okay, let me show you a tip for that.
Okay, let's see it.
All right, so I'm right here. So if I'm going to do a curl to the right, and then back in and back out, This one, I'm going to do my curl to the left. Then I get my hook, and I change direction. Whoops, that one got too close. Can you see the difference how I'm changing direction?
Yes.
Now I'm going to go to the right.
And you left your little hook in there.
Yeah. I just about sewed Brody's finger. Okay, your turn.
Okay, I'm going to give it another try here.
Okay.
These ones are a little more difficult, guys. This is like the intermediate class now.
Oh, did I skip to intermediate?
No, just kidding. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to do a loop. Stop. Come out.
He did the others too easily, so I had to give him a
give me something, a little something else. So now this one I'm going to go to the right, right? How are you doing your, let's come back up here. So some I'm going to do a swirl like this.
Okay, that one went to the left. Okay, so bring it back out all the way kind of to where you kind of started it.
Okay.
And now swirl off to the right.
Like this?
There you go, yeah.
And could I come over here?
Sure.
And do it again to the right?
Yeah.
Not like that, but you know. I feel like since
I'm giving you.
You give me a cheers for that. Yeah. I feel like so I feel like for this for me this one's a little more difficult because it's not swirls you're going over, and you could go, yes, you could turn directions and go a different direction, but these are very directional in my head. They might not actually be, but I feel like they're very directional, so it's taking me a second to figure out the direction I want to go.
If you did this on a sheet of paper or a strip of fabric, you'd have it down.
Okay, I'm calling that I need to practice, but I definitely get how you're doing it.
Okay, so I'm just going to give some advice to beginning quilters.
Like me.
Yes, be fearless. Good job.
Okay,
good
cool.
Job,
Thank you.
And it does help to practice with purpose. So practicing on a piece of paper is fantastic, but you have a good point that it's good to be able to bring it here. Mm-hmm. But I recommend having a project that you have some investment in, maybe not like 100 hours, but even like
not your grandma's
a panel or something.
Okay, yeah.
All right, and do coordinating thread so it doesn't stand out horribly. But if you practice with purpose, your practice goes a lot farther.
Okay, cool.
So,
one thing that I like about what you said is, like, if you're doing it on paper, you can do it on an airplane. Or during your commute to wherever, obviously if you're not driving, and all of those different places that are the doctor's office where you can sit for a second and just doodle in a notepad, and you can translate that here. I know for sure if I practice this on a notepad, it would help me get where I'm going with my swirls.
We just kind of threw this in him without practicing. But the other thing about paper is if you write like the date on it, and if you would practice
consistently
10 minutes every day, in 2 weeks you could see your progress. Like you could see how much better you got. So people like those doodle pads and they're fantastic, but when you finally get it right, you have to wipe it away. Paper,
can't see what you did.
Right, paper, you can really see your progress. So,
okay, very cool.
So don't discredit paper.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for teaching me this. These are, guys, take these videos and make them your own, okay? Grab a quilt top, grab some fabric, grab a piece of paper, and start your meanders, start your loops, start your swirls, and in a few days or a few weeks, for a little practice over time, you're gonna have some amazing quilting skills just like Kelly here. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Again, we're here with Kelly, our territory manager, and we are in the Handiquilter studios. We will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Good?
That was great, guys. Yeah.
Nice work, Kelly. That was great. That was perfect.